Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a really fascinating deep dive into the hidden science behind your absolute favorite chocolate bar. We're going to look at the intense, almost survival of the fittest process that transforms a raw, wet biological bean into the standardized, delicious chocolate we all know and love. Okay, let's just dive right in. You know that perfectly dry, powdery texture of cocoa, right? It's exactly what you picture when you're baking. But here's the wild reality. Right after fermentation, those raw beans are incredibly vulnerable. Why? Because they're basically just absolutely soaked with water. Section 1. The cocoa moisture problem. So the crucial point here is at the exact moment fermentation ends, a staggering 55% of the cocoa bean is literally just moisture. Seriously, think about that for a second. Over half of its entire physical makeup is just water. If you leave that untreated in the kind of humid, tropical environments where cocoa thrives, well, it's basically a ticking time bomb for mold, rot, the whole shebang. It is an agricultural crisis just waiting to happen. Section 2. Drying for safe storage. To actually survive the journey from the farm to the processing factory, that 55% moisture level, it has to plummet all the way down to between 6 and 7%. Now, that isn't just some minor tweak. That is a massive physical transformation. Nearly all of the internal water has to be completely driven out just to stabilize the beans for the long haul. And, imagine trying to execute that perfectly in a super humid climate. It's a monumental daily challenge for these farmers. And this brilliantly illustrates just how staggering that contrast really is. You're taking a bean sitting at a massive 55% moisture, and you're forcing it down to a mere 6 to 7%. Without successfully bridging that enormous gap, safe storage is entirely impossible. The whole harvest would just be lost before it ever even had a chance to become chocolate. Now, these aren't just casual estimates we're throwing around. According to definitive industry specifications, the mandate to reduce moisture down to that exact 6 to 7% window is a strict, documented scientific requirement. It is absolutely crucial for safe storage. Section 3. Sri Lanka's 6 grades. Now, what's really interesting about this is that once the beans are finally safely dried, the real sorting begins. The Sri Lanka Standards Institution actually mandates exactly 6 grades of cocoa beans. So this means that not all safely stored beans are created equal, not by a long shot. They are meticulously evaluated and separated into 6 very distinct tiers. The institution acts as the ultimate arbiter of quality here. And honestly, what separates grade 1 from the bottom tiers? It usually comes down to minute details, like the slightest remaining defect or maybe an imperfectly dried core. Only the absolute best survive the cut for top-tier status. Just reflect on this for a moment. Those 6 rigorous institutional grades completely determine the exact quality of what we consume every single day. I'm talking the texture, the flavor profile, the purity. It all traces back directly to which of those 6 specific tiers the dried beans were sorted into by the authorities. It quite literally dictates whether a batch of beans is destined to become a generic mass-market candy bar or a premium artisanal dark chocolate truffle. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought. Which of those 6 grades is sitting in your pantry right now? Next time you open up a tin of cocoa or unwrap a chocolate bar, I want you to remember that intense battle against moisture and the incredibly strict institutional grading it had to survive just to reach your hands. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep questioning the hidden science behind the everyday items we totally take for granted.